How's it going, y'all? My name is Zenna, and welcome back to another episode of Battlefield 2042 More Than Meta. I don't know about y'all, but I seriously enjoy a good underdog weapon, and this series allows me to share with y'all the best guns that aren't necessarily talked about or used by many players. So let's take a step back from the overpowered PP29, RM68, BSV, and take a look at one of my favorite guns in today's episode of More Than Meta featuring the VCAR. Now, starting off, some of you may be new to Battlefield 2042 and need to know how to unlock the VCAR. It's pretty straightforward. You just have to rank up to level 47. At this point, you now have unlocked the best gun in Battlefield 2042. Prepare to ruin every enemy in your path with a few simple taps of the trigger. I'm of course joking, but the VCAR being overpowered has kind of become a meme around my channel, and I just enjoy showcasing what this weapon is capable of. Funny enough, my highest kill game was actually with the VCAR, which I still can't believe happened, but yeah, 192 kills on Kaleidoscope of all maps. I have a video if anyone is curious on my YouTube. It really is a fun weapon, and although I don't use it every game, it offers something playful and unique to mix up the gameplay from your standard 40-round machine gun, blah blah blah. The VCAR, it isn't perfect. It's not a perfect gun. It's hardly used, and it's certainly more than meta, and that's why I love it. The VCAR is indeed a marksman rifle, but to me, it plays more like an SMG with better range and a superior headshot multiplier. The VCAR is a compact DMR suited for close range engagements. Now, this weapon, despite it being single fire only, has the second highest fire rate in its class right after the BSV. Even though this gun is designed around close quarters combat, the hipfire spread is almost twice that of an SMG with guns like the PBX. So, though hipfire is useful for certain situations, aiming down sights is definitely your best option with the VCAR. Also, thanks to its quick burst damage, the VCAR has the lowest theoretical time to kill in its class. However, this stat is extremely limited compared to a weapon like the BSV. Using close combat ammo, the VCAR can only have better combat capability within 29 meter range. Past that, the other DMRs will quickly outdamage the VCAR. An argument could be made for the standard ammo on the VCAR, but at that point you're sacrificing fire rate, ammo capacity, therefore reducing your overall kill potential. I will say, if you want a long-range DMR to pick off targets, the VCAR is probably not the weapon that you want to be using. Let's talk loadout. As I've mentioned before, the VCAR to me plays more like an SMG than a DMR, so my loadout will reflect that. You technically can build the VCAR for a more medium range setup with a 2x standard ammo long barrel along with the grip, but I firmly believe you get more bang for your buck using the VCAR in more aggressive situations. If you want to sit back and pick off targets, the SVK marksman rifle is a much better option. And yes, I have a full video going over the SVK for anyone interested. Okay, so back to my actual VCAR loadout. Y'all know I'm a sucker for a red dot, but I do sometimes swap to the thermal for certain situations, so I would recommend keeping the thermal as a backup option. Realistically, you don't need anything more than a one-time sight on the VCAR. Next up, ammo. I like to start off with the drum mag, followed by the close combat extended for a quick swap just in case I run out of ammo. For the third ammo slot, you can run whatever you like, just make sure you fill it with something. No reason not to fully stock your ammo on the plus menu. This almost always guarantees that you will have ammo available to you on the battlefield. In the underbarrel slot, I often switch it up between the MGL laser, which is the green laser, and the LWG grip. I find both of these to be nice options, but recently I have been running with the LWG grip more since it fits well with the aggressive playstyle of the VCAR. I would stay away from the Cobra grip and the BCG, since neither of these grips will be beneficial over the LWG or the laser. I never run the Cobra because I never stand still, and the VCAR already has terrible hipfire accuracy, so the BCG isn't doing us any favors. Lastly, for the barrel, I'm going with the short barrel. This will give your RPM a nice boost and give the VCAR a little more presence in those close range fights. Remember just to spam the trigger as fast as possible. I will almost always run a suppressor swap, as well, just in case like I need to go stealth mode for a flank, and for that suppressor I like to go with the wrapped. If you're not vibing with either of those options, I would say the factory barrel is never a bad option. A nice feature of the VCAR is that I find it to be pretty flexible among all the maps. From the wide open spaces on Discarded to the close quarters action of Redacted. The VCAR really can slither its way into any engagement and oftentimes win, but it will highly depend on your individual skill as a player. What I mean by that is that the VCAR is a high risk, high reward weapon. This entire gun is highly dependent on being accurate and landing those key shots that otherwise could be easier to land on, say, an LMG with 200 rounds. If you manage to get consistent with the VCAR, you will find that the rewards are plentiful. 40 rounds in the mag, along with a 2 to 4 shot kill, allows you to rack up some impressive kill feeds and look good while doing it. The headshot damage is what really gives this .22 caliber carbine that distinct advantage over SMGs. We're talking 70 damage for a headshot in medium range gunfights, which will catch your enemies off guard, and you will find yourself racking up a couple of nice kills every time you aim down sights. Speaking of aiming down sights, I know I've preached the VCAR is best used in close range, but don't forget at the end of the day, it's still a marksman rifle and is capable of killing targets at range. Granted, with the close combat ammo, we're only doing 22 damage, but hey, take your time, pace your shots. You'd be surprised how many targets you can kill at those 100-meter distances. Again, at these ranges, tap firing is your friend. Slow down, just focus your shots, save that trigger finger for those up-close gunfights. The VCAR excels in many areas, but it's certainly not perfect. So what are some negatives for this weapon? Why don't more players use it? I would say the biggest drawback has to be the limited fire mode. Walking into a room with 3 people staring at you can be real overwhelming with a single fire pea shooter. This has to be an automatic turn-off for most players, even more so for console players. I feel that anytime I say good things about the VCAR, I have some console players saying things like, "Oh, must be easy on PC," or "Try doing that on controller." I don't play 2042 on controller, so I can't fully understand how y'all feel, but I can think back to my 20 years of controller experience before I switched over, and I don't remember ever having serious problems with single-fire weapons over the years on Halo, COD, Apex Legends, or even Battlefield 3 back in the day. The G7 Scout on Apex was one of my favorite guns, and it was a single-fire rifle similar to the EMR in 2042. As a matter of fact, I loved using single-fire guns, and a lot of times it just allowed me to pace the shots how I wanted to and rack up damage along the way. I'm not trying to start a mouse and key versus controller argument because I have respect for both platforms. I just think sometimes people see gameplay of a really talented M&K player or controller and think, oh, that's how everyone on M&K plays. But hopefully y'all understand that that's not the case. There are really strong and horrible players on both platforms. Good aim only gets you so far in shooter games. I still consider my aim to be very mid, but where I shine is my ability to read in-game situations and adapt. Game knowledge, positioning, overall awareness. These are the tools that take your gameplay to that next level. I don't think input matters as much as people say, and I think it all comes down to the player's ability. I understand not everyone plays the way that I do, so that's why I feel that the VCAR is less used by most players. Right away, the VCAR forces you to play a certain way, and I completely understand why some players stay away from this weapon. Another downside for the VCAR on top of the fire mode has to be the limited versatility compared to other weapons available, even in the same class. The VCAR doesn't have underbarrel grenades or really any spicy attachments that will completely change the feel of the gun. What you see is what you get with the VCAR, and I feel that for most players, it's an instant turnoff. Last thing I will mention here is the VCAR can be an ammo hog if you spam the trigger as much as I do. The best way to combat this is to play aggressive and pick up ammo off dead enemies as you go. Try to find an ammo box nearby, or of course, play the support role, and you can fix this issue entirely with an ammo pouch. At the end of the day, I find the VCAR to be an outstanding weapon, and I highly recommend y'all check it out, especially if you're looking to shake up your gameplay. There's some serious farm to be had with this weapon, from my experience, which I would say I have a lot considering I'm at 18,000 kills now with the VCAR, and that number will continue to climb. But that's all I have for y'all today. If you made it this far, you're a legend, and I greatly appreciate you watching. I want to continue this mini-series of off-meta weapons, so let me know what gun y'all want to see next. If you're looking for live gameplay, I stream every week on Twitch. I will have all my socials in the description. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.
Ah, fuck! Reload it!